Chat with Ralph, it's the place to be. Bald as the moon, but full of tea. Divorce debates and cheating confessions, sexless nights and awkward questions. Oh, chat with Ralph, it's a laugh and a half. Grab a seat, tune in for the gaffes. Bald and bold, spilling the truth. Get ready, folks, here's your proof. Got no hair, but I got the flair. Marriage drama, we lay it bare. Infidelity, it's a spicy stew. Pour a cup, let's talk it through. So join the fun, don't miss a thing. Chat with Ralph's where secrets swing. Bald is beautiful and that's a fact. Now hit that stream, it's time to
All right, here we are. I told you it was good. Everyone has the same reaction, like, what the hell, dude? It's like, I know, I love it, it's stupid, but I made that in 10 seconds. AI. AI is awesome, isn't it? Are you using it much in your world, Mr. Marques?
Absolutely are, yes. Automation, outreach, creating different things, music, follow up. Like I tell my clients, it's all about getting rid of the small, mundane tasks.
Yep,
so
that's
we actually got hired for our first speaking job directly all about AI by a client, PIA, Professional Insurance Agents of the DC, Virginia, North Carolina chapter.
Very cool. Very cool. And you got a jersey behind you, which seems to indicate, Marques, did you play football?
I might have played once or twice.
Once or twice, a little bit in past life.
Once or twice, big guy.
Well, let's introduce yourself to all these folks that are like, who is this handsome feller with Ralph? Marques, tell us all about yourself.
My name is Marques Ogden. I am from Washington, D.C. I now live in Fuquay, Berea, North Carolina. It's about a half hour outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. I am a father of two amazing daughters, Ava, 21, Farah, 11. I am a national, international keynote speaker, business coach, corporate consultant, brand ambassador, podcast host. That's how I met Ralph, who's an awesome, awesome interview. And I'm a former, of course, NFL athlete.
Very cool. Now, don't sell yourself short. You got a really cool story as far as, I guess you could say, rising from the ashes there, don't you? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I got drafted to the National Football League by the Jacksonville Jaguars. My rookie head coach was Jack Del Rio, who's an amazing head coach. I had a great career, almost 6 years in the National Football League, enjoyed it, loved my time, worked hard, met some great people, lots of guys, camaraderie, the locker room. And I tell you all the time, that's what I feel, Ralph. Most guys miss. The money's one thing, sure, but they miss the brotherhood, they miss the camaraderie, they miss the locker room. That's what I feel most guys truly, truly miss. And so what happened for me after I retired, I had a deep time of like darkness, deep time of isolation, feeling like a fake, a phony, like, what am I going to do with my life? I have been playing football since I was in the 9th grade. And now here I'm 28 years old. And now that's 14. Basically, it was half my life at that time. Right? I started playing football at 14. I retired at 28. So right at that halfway point, I'm like, man, I've been playing football for just about half my life. What's next? And I ended up struggling immensely with addiction, with nightlife, with women, with all these things. And then I finally got my act together and I started Caden Premier Enterprises. Caden Premier Enterprises was launched as a small concrete contractor. We ended up growing to the largest African-American owned subcontracting company in the city of Baltimore and the state of Maryland, Ralph, for 2 years. We were national. We did a lot of things locally, statewide, even nationally. But unfortunately, Ralph, as the company grew, my ego got so massive, it got so out of control that I just started to believe I was everything great, nothing bad. I was everything awesome, nothing, could hurt me. And I just got this real negative sense of how to treat people and all this stuff. So I ended up literally losing everything that I owned in 2013. Everything. and I had to move from Baltimore, Maryland to Raleigh, North Carolina. When I moved here, I only had $400 left to my name. That's it. That's all I had left. And I ended up having to start over from rock bottom. I was fired from 2 jobs in the same week, financial planning, and I was fired from a construction company. I had both cars repossessed in the same day, not same month, not same week, same day. And I tell you, when I got down here, Ralph, I was $1,550 short of next month's rent. $1,550 short. So I was literally just a true hot mess in every sense of the word. So I ended up going to work as a custodian in downtown Raleigh for $8.25 an hour on the graveyard shift. One of my clients had a business working, she cleaned office buildings, mixed use, mainly office buildings and stuff like that, like the restaurant-based stuff like that, mixed use buildings. So she needed help on the night shift. And I said, hey, how much are you paying? She said, I'm paying $8 an hour. I said, when can they start? They can start next week. I said, please hire me. She said, I can pay you $8.25 an hour. I said, I'll take it. So that was me getting humbled to a degree. But I still, Ralph, did not truly get to that point of like, wow, I got to change, until I had my rock bottom moment where somebody's trash, rotten meat, nasty, protruding, horrible smelling garbage got all over me. And that happened. I said, whoa, this is my reality. Whoa. Because you can't really see, but behind me on this side, it's my first book, Sleepless Nights. And I tell everybody, I had so many sleepless nights between April 2013 and probably till about like September 2013. I was probably averaging about 2 to 2.5 hours of sleep per night because I was just so stressed. I was so anxious. I was so, how am I going to pay this bankruptcy? Like, Rob, it cost me $3,300 to pay for my bankruptcy. It took me almost 7 months to pay it off. I would give $1 here, I go pay it. Try to keep up money for the food or rent, gas. I mean, it was just, I was piecemealing it, like, because we had no money. We had nothing. And so I ended up finally hitting rock bottom with that spoiled milk moment. And I looked at myself and said, wow, if I don't change, I'm going to be right here for the rest of my life. And that is when, Rob, I said, enough with this BS, enough with this pointing of the finger, start pointing the thumb. And once I did that, Ralph, that's when things started to change for the better. It took some time, and I started to speak because I felt, well, I want to help people not become the version of myself that put myself here. So I started speaking in September 2013, got my first paid job in April of 2016, 30 months later, finally got that. 2017, got my next paid job with the Buffalo Bills football team, NFL football team. And then 2018, came back to the Bills again. I met Mel Robbins. I got coached by her, went to a program at Penn State, learned the business about how to become a speaker, how to take your message and transcend it. And then the door started opening. So the last, now what is that? Almost 8 years, we've worked for over 85 Fortune 500 clients.
That's awesome.
85. 5-time best-selling author, twice by ourselves, 3 times as a co-author. Our podcast gets about 300,000 to 400,000 downloads per month. We are on podcast shows like this. We are putting our message out there. And at the end of the day, Ralph, all I care about is helping people to push through obstacles. That's all I care about.
I love it. That's awesome. Good for you, man. I get chills listening to your story. We talked about this on your podcast before, how similar your story and the story of a lot of professional athletes who did the old roller coaster ride, how similar that is to guys that went through the military, that they go to war, they go overseas, they have to kill a bunch of people, watch all their friends and everyone around them get destroyed and hurt, and then they're thrown back into normal society, and they're like, good luck, have at it. And they're just like, I don't know what to do. And that's their rock bottom moment of, I don't know who I am, what my identity is, and everything else. It's just so very similar to you guys with the past.
Very much so, because we are trying to figure out what to do now that football is gone. You can't just walk around punching people in the face, hitting people in the mouth, trying to drive and pancake people, tackle people. This is not everyday life. In the NFL, that is exactly what it's all about. In regular life, you can't do that. So I tell people, if you don't figure out as an athlete, what is that next move? It gets very dark. It gets very depressing. It gets very, very difficult.
Yeah. Now, a couple of avenues I want to take the conversation. One is, during all this up and down, were you married? Kids?
So I was married. So it's a good point. So in 2012, I met my ex-wife, and she met me, and she was actually living in North Carolina. I was in Baltimore. We met on Match, and she left North Carolina to move with me in Baltimore. And then when I went bankrupt and broke, everything happened, we then left Baltimore, came back to Raleigh. She was with me through that process when it all started. And then my stepdaughter, when she got back down here, thrived around her family. And then that was 2012 we met. Then 2013 on my birthday, she told me that she was pregnant. And then now I have Fair, who's 11. So yeah, so then we got married in May of 2015.
Wow. Now, that didn't end too well. Do we want to talk about the trajectory of that marriage? Yeah.
Yeah, man. So my marriage ended in 2022. Unfortunately, our communication and, our intimacy just is disconnected. I remember really hard trying to save the marriage. So hard. But unfortunately, like I tell people, it takes two to tango, right? And my ex would tell you the same thing. Like she had checked out, and she told me that. And then I'm sitting there trying to struggle to fight to get it back. And then once I found out that we're just so disconnected, I made the difficult decision. I actually filed for divorce. My ex did not. I did, and it was not easy. It was a struggle, because the struggle was, I didn't want to not be around my kids all the time. But here's what I thought. Ava is going to college. So she was actually going to be going into her freshman year at that time. So she was gone. Farrah was only 8. My parents divorced when I was 8. It was 1988. And I met Ava when she was 8. A lot of 8s. So I said to myself, if I stay in this marriage, if I stay in this house, I'm going to be around Farrah 100% of the time, almost probably 0% happy or fulfilled. If I leave and I get my own stuff together, I'll tell you what, man, that first 2.5 months when I moved out of my marital home into a broken down, dirty, dingy, grimy apartment, I only had 2 weeks to get out. That's it. 2 weeks. And what happened is I ended up finding a place, 2-bedroom, fully furnished. When I left, Ralph, I had nothing. I just had my clothes, jersey, a couple like a Barry Sanders jersey over picture over here. I had a couple of my little trinkets, clothes. That's it. She kept everything. Beds, furniture, washer, dryer, everything. So I had to find a place that was fully furnished, which is not easy to do in such short notice. So it wasn't a lot of options. So that first 2.5 months, Rob, when I moved into my apartment that I was renting, I could probably say with all honesty, might have been the darkest 2.5 months of my life. Seriously. I was just so, oh my God. And then what happens in January of 2023, midway, I made the choice that I'm not going to just be a victim anymore. I'm not going to say poor me anymore. And I went from victim to victor. And I went from negative mindset to neutral. It took me about 2.5 months to go from negative to neutral. Once I got to neutral, I made this choice. I said, Marques, you're now neutral. We're not going back to negative. And that's when I started working harder and harder through the process. So it was tough, man. I mean, divorce is one of the most difficult things you ever have to do, ever.
Now, a lot of people hearing your story about marriage and divorce would assume that you met the ex while you were this successful NFL guy, and then she dumped you, or the marriage disintegrated rather when the roller coaster went down. But that wasn't the case. You guys got together when you were close to your lowest, right?
Yeah, it was. That is exactly right. And it's interesting, right? What I learned from this is, I would say what my therapist says is I was going through trauma bonding, where she had a lot of trauma, I had a ton of trauma, and we bonded off the trauma.
Yep.
And then as we moved here and started to try to get back into a routine of everyday life, the trauma kind of calmed down and we grew, but just in different directions. She was more into one thing. I was more into another. She wanted to go out a lot and still kind of, and do things and be a little more young at heart, which is fine. I didn't mind doing that, but I didn't want to do it all the time, right? So, in reality, what I tell people is, if you're at, I'll say this, when it comes to dating, right? Do not try and date someone if you're at the highest high emotion or the lowest low emotion. And what happens is it's a false sense of emotion, right? I got with her when I was at the lowest point of my life professionally. I was going through my struggles. The business started to go under. I had no money. I had nothing. And so it was just a sense of trauma bonding. And that's what I can really see. You know what? I told my therapist, that's a very fair statement. Because at the end of the day, right, Ralph, in reality, I should have never married her. But, it's fine. I had my 2 kids and my life. And I guess I was married and tried marriage. And, and marriage with the right person, it feels great. It's great, but also it's a lot of work. So don't just go into it blindly. Love is awesome. It is a phenomenal feeling. It is a phenomenal, emotion, but it's also just that. It's an emotion. It's a feeling that you have to work on every single day. So if you're not willing to put the work in, don't even bother trying to get into a relationship. My opinion.
Here's what we hear all the time in our group. And I put a link up to the group for the guys that are watching this live, helpformen.com/join to join the Brotherhood, which is our private support community for guys. Here's what I hear from guys in the group, guys that reach out to me all the time. They're with a woman. They're married for so many years. She cheats on them. They get divorced. He's heartbroken. He's down in the dumps, rock bottom moment. He gets him a girlfriend like immediately. He puts himself on those apps and he finds a new woman like right away. And guess what? He is just, oh my gosh, the Lord has blessed me with the most perfect woman ever. How did I get so lucky? This is amazing. She makes me feel like I've never felt with the wife. With the wife, it was the awful, and then she ended up cheating. It was terrible. But this new girlfriend, perfect. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And it always ends in some kind of chaos because they met under the wrong circumstances. He was really broken. She's like, I like broken guys. And they get together and they're 2 broken people and all kinds of shit breaks out. And it's just not good. And what a lot of those guys say is that breakup with new perfect girlfriend actually hurts worse than what he had with the divorce. Because he felt like he was so lucky and everything was just perfect and it was just amazingly awesome. And then life is like, dude, you did it again. So your story is one that everybody hears all the time, that I hear all the time rather, which is, that chaos is not the perfect building grounds for a relationship. Because once the chaos inevitably settles down and you guys move in together and everything starts getting, quote, boring, which is another word for normal.
Hey, the everyday life gets normal.
That's right. You're just like, well, there goes the excitement of having
something new.
sex 3 times a day, and there goes the excitement of
Yeah.
all this and that. And now we have a kid, and
Yeah.
now we went from 3 times a
Now we
day to
got
once a
one.
month
Yeah.
if we're lucky, and now and the guy's thinking this way, and the wife's like, the excitement's gone. I just don't have those oomph feelings for him anymore. And the wife starts saying, maybe this means this was a mistake. And the guy's like, what can I do to fix this? And around they go, and boom, there you go. So the grand solution to this isn't necessarily don't get in relationships. That's what a lot of guys think. It's more of take your time, do it right, work on your issues, talk to somebody like you talked about going to therapy. Kudos to you, man. I wish more guys did that. Go talk to somebody about all this stuff. And you may have some aha moments. And one of those aha moments is probably, maybe I should just cool it with the relationships and the dating.
Chill.
Yeah,
Just
chill out
chill
for a
for
bit.
a
Just
minute. Yeah,
calm
just
down.
chill.
Work on it. You probably have money issues you got to work on, all you divorced guys. You probably have emotional issues you got to work on. Just set the ladies aside for a bit. They ain't going anywhere. There's plenty of them out there.
Amen.
It's not like we're all 90 years old and we only have days left. Like, no, dude, it's okay if you just set them aside, right? You'll be fine. And that's easier said than done, though, especially when you're hurting.
Ralph, I'll say this. So when I got divorced, so I filed for divorce July 2022. I moved out November 1st, 2022 to the apartment. I was not intimate with anybody for almost 7 months because my lawyer told me, do not do that. You're still in the house, wait, the whole thing. So when I got out, right, I knew that whoever I was seeing was just for fun. I knew it. And I said that. I said, I am not looking for a relationship. I do not want to try to get into something serious. I am not your guy. I'm not. I just wanted to have fun. And then while I was having fun, I was working on myself, seeing a therapist, going through the process, untangling money, trying to sell our old home, trying to work through the process, the whole 9 yards. And I can tell you this. I learned in that process, I'm so glad that I didn't do like a lot of guys, well, not a lot of guys. They say the statistics show that most guys after divorce are either engaged or in a serious relationship within like a 12-month period.
Fast. Way faster than the ladies do. Way faster than ladies.
Exactly. And so here's the thing, right? Like I tell people, how can you truly, right, have fixed yourself after 12 months? It's not possible, in my opinion, right? Where I think that if you don't believe that, that's totally fine. I can tell you from my experience, if I would try to get with somebody seriously within a 12-month window of going through what I went through, it would have been absolutely a disaster.
Yep.
Because who I was an individual that was torn, that was broken, that was hurting, and all I would have done was hurt the other person because I didn't trust. I don't really trust people now that much. I mean, when it comes to women, I don't. I'm 3.5 years out of my divorce, and I still struggle with trusting people. Because at the end of the day, like I tell people, relationships, the thing that stinks, right, Ralph? You have no control over the other person. None.
Such is life.
None.
Yeah.
And that's the gamble. Love is the biggest gamble we can ever take in life. And again, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying understand it. Be cognizant of what you're getting into. This is why, with me, I know who I want to be with or the type of person. Again, nobody's perfect. I don't expect anybody. That's not going to talk about that. What I want is someone I can talk to, that I can chat with, that's there in the hard times. And again, you said the excitement, right? All that stuff, sex, 3-4 times a day, all that, like that's not going to last forever.
It's not real. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think so. I don't think it's, I don't think it's going to last forever. I mean, I know a lot of married guys, a lot. I don't know any married guy getting sex 3-4 times a day in his marriage. I don't. And if you do, I am happy for you. You're awesome, fantastic, and keep it going. Right? If you do, great. But most guys aren't getting that. So what I tell people, you have to be ready for what it's going to be, which is the reality factor, right? Life gets mundane, it gets boring at times, it gets redundant. And if you're looking for something to excite you all the time, that's the problem. It's like with me, I create my own excitement. Like I'll go to the movies I want to, I'll travel, I'll go play poker, I hang with my daughter, I'll watch documentaries. You know, guys, learn to be okay by yourself. That's the big thing.
Amen. And boy, that's difficult, man.
Okay. Oh, it's hard.
Well, we got guys that their entire life has been built on what I do for others. It's been built on what that person thinks about me.
Being married, being part of, that's got it. I totally get it. But understand this. You, like anybody else, have to be okay, because you can't have someone around you 24/7. Not possible, except for yourself, right? And I tell people, stop trying to get everybody to like you. Learn to love yourself. This is a tough one, because a lot of times people say we're looking for outside validation. I believe that's where cheating comes in on both sides.
Sure, absolutely.
We're looking for outside validation. I don't need anybody to validate me. Is it nice getting a compliment here or there when I'm dating somebody? Of course it is. But I don't need someone to validate me. I need someone to connect with me, be a partner with me. That's what I need. I don't need you to take care of me. I don't need you to take care of my stuff. I can cook for myself. I can clean for myself. I can do my own laundry. I can make my bed. I can pay my own bills. I don't need anybody to take care of me. I want someone to build with. And I feel as guys, again, I can't speak for all, I can speak for me. We have to, because again, I struggled with that for a little while when I first got out of the house. We've got to learn to be okay with us without anybody else there.
So you got these guys that are fresh out of, I'm getting some feedback here. I'm going to mute there we go. We got guys that are fresh out of divorce. They lost a job after 20 years, whatever it may be. So that title of husband, that title of vice president of sales, that whatever it may be. Sometimes even this is the worst thing that I hear. And it's so heartbreaking to hear these stories, the loss of a child. My child passed away for whatever reason. So now I'm no longer a parent. Maybe that was your only kid, whatever it may be. All these outside things define who it is I am. And when those go away, you're left with, who the hell am I? What do I do? When the titles are gone, what am I left with? And what a lot of guys realize is nothing. I don't know who the hell I am. I don't know beyond NFL player, beyond soldier. When those things are gone. Now, to your credit, Marques, when you left the NFL shortly thereafter, if I'm right in the timeline, you started up a successful concrete business, right? So there's something, let me unmute you here. There's something in you innately that has that business acumen, that drive or whatever. Where did that come from, do you think, to go and start your own biz?
So my dad was the first African-American bank manager for the Federal Home Loans Bank of New York in their DC office. So our dad went to Howard, got his degree in economics from Howard, got his master's in Maryland. He got his master's from the University of Maryland. So we learned a long time ago, like just from like childhood, about entrepreneurship, being in business for yourself, taking care of yourself. We learned all that stuff. And I was able to really watch people. I respect, like my grandfather was an entrepreneur and he had like an automotive business. He would help fix cars and things of that nature. My grandfather's next door neighbor, Uncle Trevor, had the same type of little auto business going on as well. So I was always fascinated with entrepreneurship, business, numbers, and also I have a degree in finance myself. And the thing is, I saw a lot of people in corporate America lose their job unexpectedly, without any notice. And I was like, man, I truly don't want this to happen to me. So I always felt that bug. When I left the NFL, I've been working with somebody for so long, taking people's orders, which is fine, right? It's fine. But I wanted to try something else on my own. I wanted to actually go out there and say, you know what? Can I do this? Can I set up a business on my own? Can I get myself situated and settled? So I always had that bug and desire because I just didn't want to keep having to follow the corporate ladder, the corporate environment. And so again, but one thing I've been an individual who's been disciplined, and I don't mind taking risk as long as I have enough time to assess what could go good, what could go bad. And so, and again, right, when I did my construction company, things were great. But unfortunately, because I was just so young and so just simple-minded, right, and so dim-witted, I didn't think I could ever be hurt, or I thought I was so untouchable. It basically, everything around me crashed and burned. So the point is, I've learned about entrepreneurship, business, right, Ralph, from a very, very young age.
Yeah, it's in your blood, so to speak. So you got your parents, grandparents. That's awesome. So you got the brains and the oomph, the business acumen, the tolerance for risk. Sounds like you kind of had that baked into your DNA there. You saw growing up, and a lot of people don't have that. So you're blessed in a lot of ways. I mean, let's put that out there. So you had that foundation to fall back on. That's a wrong term, because there's no fall back on. There's no safety net. It's nothing but work. As an entrepreneur, it's just work, 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 go, 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 risk, 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 spend. Hopefully there's a return. It's way more difficult, arguably, than being some kind of corporate dude. So, but guys, let's think about the story of Marques here. You were in stadiums playing to 100,000 screaming fans, literally at times, to, all right, I'm out of that at a young age, 28, right? Into your own business, successful business failed. And holy shit, what now? And you were willing to swallow your pride, set your ego aside, and literally become a janitor for $8 an hour. Did anybody ever recognize you when you were mopping the floors? Like, hey, are you?
Yeah, I had several people that recognized me and said, wow, man. Like, and you know what's really crazy, Ralph? People would recognize me, and I was like, "Oh, how are you?" Being polite, good morning, conversation, and they would look at me and say nothing. They was like, "Oh, I recognize you." Then okay, just act like I wasn't even there. I was so treated like I was inhuman, like I was less than others, all because I just had a job that people considered beneath them, and that's why, right, Ralph, who I am now. I will talk to anybody, right? I will talk to anybody. I will help anybody. I'm all about serving and giving back. And I'm literally that individual that's all about helping people to elevate and rise to the next level.
Yeah, those rock bottom moments make you more empathetic to other people's conditions. You look at a guy and you go, I don't know what his story is. I have no idea. Everyone always seems to jump to, that guy is face down in the gutter because of his series of bad decisions. He's a drug addict. He's like, dude, you have no idea what that man's been through. He may be one little handout, if you will, one little hand raise saying, I need help. He may go from janitor to speaking to Fortune 50 companies as a speaker. You have no idea. There's Marqueses out there all over the world. And
everywhere.
Yeah. So kudos to you, man. So we're so lucky to have Mr. Marques Ogden with us here today. And we got Mr. Ninja Spam 2000 makes a point. Like the video, he's telling everybody. Yes, guys, wherever you're watching this, if you could give me a like, follow, all that good stuff, I would appreciate it. We are on Facebook, YouTube, as well as Twitter, or X as it's called now. So guys, if you're watching this, give me a like. That tells all those places that this is worthy of other people seeing. So I was telling Marques, most of our viewers, if you will, watch us on the recording later on and all the clips that we post everywhere, but it always helps. There we go. Somebody gave me a like. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. I've been putting a couple of banners up here. One is our Help for Men Brotherhood. The other is Rebuild. All this, what we're talking about here is Marques's rebuild story. And I talk all about this in a book called Rebuild. And you can find out more at readrebuild.com. That is my 5th book. And Marques, I need to send you a copy. It is right up your alley, mister. You'll probably read that thing and go, been there, done that.
Love it. Any type of book around rebuilding, mindset, attributes over skills, anything like that. It's going to always be right up my alley because I tell people life is not straight line. Life is not going to give you what you want when you want it. Life is not designed to be just this simple, linear.
Doesn't work that way. Nope.
No way, Jose. So you got to have the ability to bounce back and rebuild when things don't go your way.
Some of us got to learn that the hard way, like, losing everything and becoming a janitor and, getting divorced and end up in a shitty apartment. Some of us got to go down that road. A lot of guys can relate to your story that are watching this or that will watch this later. Some of us, though, I go back to the military thing. I was a military brat, so I know that world really well. My dad was lifelong enlisted military guy, sergeant. Some of us, we volunteer for those moments. When you go to the military and you go into boot camp, they strip you down to nothing, literally and figuratively, as they strip you of all your ego and everything else. And next thing you know, you've lost 20 pounds and you're doing so many push-ups and marching until you vomit and everything else. And they just strip you of all that so they can rebuild you from the ground up, and what they need, which is a good soldier who can do what they need to help defend the country and stuff. There's a lot to learn from that mindset, which is just whittle you down to nothing. Most of us haven't had those whittle you down to nothing moments until, who knows? Your wife says, adios, I don't want you anymore. And you're like, oh, shoot, who am I? What am I? Husband gone. Take off your husband suit. Put on what suit do I put on now? Scary moment. Scary moment.
Yeah. And like I said, right, Ralph, scary moments indeed, because you have no idea what to expect, what is next, all that kind of stuff. It's you just never know. So I tell people all the time, you just got to keep getting after it. You just got to keep pushing yourself forward. Boom, boom, boom. Just don't give up.
And I want to reiterate, this doesn't mean do it alone either. Because
God, no.
Marcus got help. I got help. All of us. And we can all attest to, it was that moment when I finally said, all right, I need a little something here. That finally we went from here to here, which led us to get to here, which led us get to here, just by virtue of networking and learning from this guy and learning from that guy. So many guys these days just think I can lone wolf this, just stay in my little apartment, get on the internet, figure it all out myself, make my money, to hell with the rest of the world. Everybody's done me wrong anyway. It's like, no, man, that's the wrong attitude for all this.
No. Nobody can do it alone. Nobody. Because your mind, when you're in darkness, it can't see clearly. It can't see the forest through the trees. It can't see through the fog, brain fog, the darkness. It can't see. So this is why groups like yours, right, Ralph, helping other men, it's big because there's strength in numbers. It's about a tribe. You need to have people around you that are like-minded, that can tell you things without you even having to ask them. I'm part of this really powerful group of guys. They're all are successful in the insurance business, except for me. I do a lot of speaking in their industry, but they all have commercial insurance businesses, 7 figures, 8 figures, some guys 9 figures. These guys are all top successful, fulfilled guys, but we all are part of a group. All of us can tell each other what we need to hear without asking. All of us push each other. All of us want the best for each other. Ladies and gentlemen, right? I just like saying that every girl. Guys, you need to be part of a group like Help for Men. Because at the end of the day, what happens is you then have a place to go when you have a hardship, or you have a difficult sleepless night, or you're disagreeing with your spouse, or you're having a work issue, or you don't know who you are because you've lost a job, or you've lost a career, or you've lost a girlfriend, or you lost whatever, right? This is big, because what happens is at the end of the day, you must understand that you have to have that support group. Mm-hmm. The support group is going to allow you to vent, get things off your chest, and then move in a better situation. And that is what it's all about, Ralph. Brotherhood, community, tribe.
There you go.
It's vital. Vital.
Vital. Absolutely. Before I did all this help for men thing and the dad starting over thing, I used to do marketing work for a bunch of different companies. And I used to work directly with like the head dude in charge. And every single one of them belonged to some kind of business group. They would run every decision by the group. They would always have little coffee meetings at the office. They would always be going to somebody else's office to have these little roundtable meetings. That really opened my eyes to, oh wow, nobody really does this alone. They're just all part of little teams. And then they would go to this team, and this guy would introduce them to another team and another team. And I became part of all these things. And I would get jobs that way and become like part of this web and this network and learn from all these guys. And there's nothing more valuable than, guys, here's the situation I'm going through. And the other guy goes, oh yeah, been there, done that. Here's what I did. And don't waste any more money going down that road, dude. Don't do what I did. I spent thousands on that. Go this way instead. This is the freebie way, whatever it may be. The same kind of logic applies to going through this stuff with all the divorce and all this other nonsense. Been there, done that, dude. Don't do what I did. Do this instead. Yeah, reach out for help. Go to here instead. Put down the alcohol. Do this, whatever it may be. To hear that from hundreds and hundreds of men all at once is just like, whew, I'm not alone. And then there's this group of expertise out there that allows me to expedite getting better instead of being down here for so long. And suddenly I jump up 10 notches because I have the wisdom of all these other guys there. It's invaluable. It's huge. So, take it from us guys for what it's worth. Two guys who have been there, done that. Don't do this a lot. It's ridiculous.
Oh my God. Yeah, man. Because what happens is interesting, right? When I was in my apartment in that 2.5 months, I was alone. I talked to my therapist once a week on the phone, but I didn't leave. I very rarely left the house other than like work committed stuff or travel for speaking. And it was just isolation, darkness, depression. When I moved into my new home in May 2023, into a better development, more people, happier neighbors, more fulfilled neighbors, friendlier neighbors, I started to really live a more holistic, healthy life. Because what was happening was I was coming out of darkness into the light. And ladies and gentlemen, again, I was sorry to say that, you're always.
No, I'm sure we got some ladies watching this.
We always put into the process. We have to have a group of people that can pull us out of darkness into the light. One of my favorite quotes by Aristotle: in times of extreme darkness, focus on the light. And help for men is the light to help men who are struggling get themselves back on track after a divorce, after a death, after a desertion, after difficulty, after all these different types of things, the different dimensions of life, right? Mm-hmm. This is a group that will help you to get out of darkness, get out of your own way, to get you where you belong and where you deserve to, which is fulfilled in the light with great people around you.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, got the voice coming back at me here again, a little feedback there. Where can we find out more about what it is that you do? Your book you mentioned behind you there, the type. Where can we find out everything you do? Is on your website, I assume?
Thank you, Ralph. Yes, they can go to our website, www.marques, M-A-R-Q-U-E-S, Ogden, OGDEN.com, and you can connect with us, or you can shoot me an email, marques@marquesogden.com, or check out our awesome podcast, Get Authentic with Marques Ogden. Please connect with us, check us out. We would love to chat with you and see if we would be a podcast guest, just have a conversation. Again, it's all about community and brotherhood.
Very good. Thank you so much, Mr. Marques. Appreciate you, brother. Everything you do. Keep doing what you're doing. I look forward to continuing working with you and the podcasts and all that good stuff. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. I love surrounding myself with more and more positive people. In my world, it's very easy to go down black holes of just a bunch of guys being victims together. Woe is me. Life has beat me upside the head. Women suck and all this other. And you can do that, sure. And it makes you feel good to be part of a tribe that way. But you do that for a year or two and you're like, I'm still the same damn place I was before, if not more and more angry than what I used to be. It's still broke, still this, still. Eventually you go like, what am I doing? and you take a left turn instead. And I think you're part of that left turn. So guys, check out marquesogden.com. I put it in the comments there for everybody, so you can just click on that link and go to that and check it out. Mr. Marques, thank you once again. Appreciate you. And guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Check out helpformen.com. Go to helpformen.com/join. We would love for you to be in the Brotherhood group and join hundreds and hundreds of men who are all there to help each other out. So guys, we'll catch you on the next one. We'll see you later.